I always take leaps, and those leaps let me hit a wall faster.
Yeah.
Like I go full in. I think you're the same way too. You don't half-ass your decision.
No.
You commit. And so every time I've ever committed, it led me a certain direction and then much closer to my next leap onto whatever I was doing.
So on that note, I would say that maybe we're not different, but you know what we do have? Because on the counterbalance of discipline, the discipline gas tank or whatever you want to call it, there's also a confidence gas tank, which allows us to make those leaps, right? So I think most people, the more they make a decision on a daily or weekly basis that reflect kind of them not respecting themselves, they lose kind of confidence points. So it's kind of like a video game or anything else, like, or even in sports, right? Like if your confidence level is much higher, you know you can snipe it from this angle into top cheese, let's say.
Yeah.
Not every player might be able to have the ability to do it, but the confidence kind of tank is what differentiates everybody.
And so what do you think that comes from? What do you think makes that player better than the other player?
It's just that opposite of disrespecting yourself. So like, let's say yourself, not that I hate comparing, well, not that I hate, but let's say you're an MJ or a Kobe or Gretzky or yourself. Really the differentiator is that maybe you just have more in your confidence tank, which is the opposite of the I don't respect myself tank. That's like you're okay to live with the results. I'm just going to do it and I'm going to be okay. I'm going to live after whether I make this shot or I don't make this shot. If I sell my company or I leave this job, I'm okay with whatever is going to happen afterwards.
Because you have that belief in yourself.
Yeah.
Like I can rebound from anything.
Yeah.
So I understand it's a bigger leap. But you have that confidence. And does that confidence come from, is it in your genes? Is it from your environment growing up? Is it from your friends? Is it an innate thing? Who really knows? It just is what it is.
Well, yeah, we can get into those topics. But to me, I think there's an invisible number right here that says, 74 right now. 74 out of 100 confidence level. And maybe to be able to do these crazy moves, I need 92. I need 95 to be able to leave my relationship or just make a drastic decision, or even be able to tell my parents or my loved ones, hey, I'm not going to see you tonight, or I don't really feel like having this conversation right now. That you need confidence points, I think.
Oh, and you think that builds you up.
Yeah.
That self-respect meter.
Yeah.
It has an effect on making you more confident.
Absolutely.
So every time you exercise that muscle, it gets bigger.
Yes.
And that is what's going to allow you to make that free throw attempt or that 3-pointer.
Think about it. It's everything. It makes sense for sports. It makes sense for shows. Like, when we watch people do these crazy guitar solos and we're like, why did not fuck up one thing? And he was doing backflips at the same time. Like, how? And that's because either practice. Yeah. Like you said,
yeah,
practice.
of course. He put in the work.
Yeah.
He's been doing it. And that's another thing is practice.
Yeah.
But how many times have you done this thing?
Yeah. But when they say like, oh, that person had cojones, like you watch F1, right? Like arguably other than skill and the car and everything, there's Lewis Hamilton and then there's everyone else. And, from your brother, he always says the difference is that this guy has the cojones to make some decisions that these people would not.
Sure. So it's not as black and white in F1 because Lewis has a car that is unreal.
Yeah.
But let's say like another guy like him, like Verstappen.
Okay.
If Verstappen was in Lewis's car, there would be very, very similar things happening. Lewis has much more wisdom and experience, and he's wonderful. Mm-hmm. But they have something that the rest of the guys don't. Or the guys who are the greats, they will take that extra inch. They will go for it. They will see that small gap, and 9 out of 10 people would never do that because it's fucking insane.
Yeah.
But they believe it and they do it. And it's a beautiful thing to watch. That's what we love to watch.
Absolutely.
That's what all great sports are.
And now to think about it, I've actually been through that transformation, not by myself, but because I've mentored and I still do mentor some kids, and I've seen that evolution of, people that have, let's say, no confidence points to now like a super high level, and they just change completely as individuals. And you get that through, practice, but also I've seen it from get that pat in the back of someone that has a lot of confidence points. Like we give confidence points all the time to individuals that don't have as much.
So you think that we can actually give them?
Yes, which goes back to what I think that's what drives you to have these conversations with people in the morning. You're giving them confidence and vibe points. It's like, wow.
So I'm transferring vibes.
Absolutely.
Is the way you see it.
Yes.
And so just so everyone knows here on the podcast, you've restarted Totem Academy.
Yes.
Totem Academy, you ran for years.
Yeah.
And this was mentoring for what, like 18 plus kids?
Yeah. Kids from 17 to 24 that, share the same beliefs as I do, which is always questioning yourself. And,
trying to beat the game, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And growing up from an Asian family, you don't get that many you don't get that many points and vibe points when you grow up. Everything's very disciplined and whatnot. And, as we grow up, I had you as a friend that gave me a million confidence points. And all I wanted to do was kind of replicate that model for other individuals as well.
And so, and thank you. And you've also given it right back, like the whole way through. Yeah. Like this podcast was essentially because you said, you know what, you should do it. You should go for it.
Sure.
And I did it. I think that was 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And then boom, here we are. Set this room up, ready to go.
Let's go.
And on that note, like a little segue, this is yours. These mics are yours. I think I need to write you a check.
It's all the same.
Okay. It's all the same. Well, perfect. Mm-hmm. Because you were in this place before.
Yeah.
So Totem was here before.
Yes.
And I took over the lease and set it up as time travel headquarters.
Yeah.
And all the shit we didn't need, we got rid of. But all the stuff that was super cool, like this podcast room with all the podcast gear, it was here and I just kept it. So thank you.
Hey, thank you.
So back to Totem Academy. What in the transformations of these kids who came in because they were just interested in learning something or seeing how they can, I don't know, what did these kids come in for?
Sure. So being a genius of marketing, the ultimate goal behind Totem Academy was just to, now that I think of it and having this conversation, I never really thought about it, was just to give confidence points to the kids, because the more confident they are, the better decisions they're going to be able to make, such as, not spending $1 million or their entire income on bottles at clubs.
Yeah, but that's sick.
Yeah. Which is, what most teenagers do, or just investing in things that they didn't need. Beyond money, just make bad decisions, be with the wrong, girlfriend or boyfriend. So in the back end is to teach these kids life lessons and to be able for them to increase their level of confidence. Obviously I can't sell that. If I tell that to anybody, put it on a website, no one's going to come.
No. So what do you tell them?
I said, my first initial pitch was, make $100,000 within a year at 18 and 19.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how close did you get to that with your students?
100%. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. There's some that either got a very nice job or some that started their own businesses. And throughout that process, they realized it was never about the money. It was just the ability to do something they love and ultimately become a lot more confident than they were.
So did you give them the confidence to actually get started? Because I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
It's like to just go.
Yeah. Go.
So they've got to go, but also you're very rational, data-minded.
Yeah.
And you look at things and you can pull out information that we don't really think about on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Because you can say, okay, how many hours did you spend in a week doing this or that? How much money did you spend in a week? And then you multiply it by 12, you multiply it by 5.
Yeah.
And then you say, this is how much you're going to spend in 5 years and this and that. And they're just bullshitting themselves.
Yeah.
And they're totally unaware that they could be putting their funds towards moving out because living at home is not really conducive to a growth mind.
100%.
It doesn't really make you proud, to live with your parents who give you shit all day, who are not necessarily experts of anything.
Yeah.
Yet their confidence level, because you are small, is supreme.
Yeah.
I'd say no one has more confidence than idiots.
That's true.
Because if they didn't have confidence and they knew how dumb they were, they'd just kill themselves. You know what I mean?
The truth.
So I think that's what keeps the organism alive.
Yeah.
Because we're just like a network. It's like, if you're low in this, give it high on this. So, and who's to say that idiot? I can be an idiot, but whatever helps propagate the species further.
Yeah.
So who's to say? Maybe it's reproduction is better the more confidence and the less intelligence you have. You know, I don't know if this could be controversial, but if you look around, the people who reproduce the most are not, as my mom says, la teta papino.
That's,
you know what I mean?
yeah, absolutely.
But you get these kids going, you get them started, you get them in the zone. And so now phase 2 of Totem is starting.
Yeah.
Or is it?
Yeah.
Because I have the insider information.
Yeah, absolutely. But just like this podcast, you just got to go. And that's the number one lesson when you go to Totem is that just go. You'll figure it out along the way. There's not one individual in the world today that knows their paths exactly how it's supposed to be. And the only way to know is just go. So there's not one individual that knows exactly, you know, their next 10 years to 20 years exactly day by day. But there's a lot of people that don't do anything, that just don't move because of the fear of the future and everything else. So what I'm trying to teach is super, super simple. Just go.
Just go. And you're giving them those vibe points, and you're even whatever you're teaching them is making them feel better about themselves.
Yeah.
But maybe being part of the class, maybe having a good environment or good people that they're dealing with is actually on a subconscious level building them up and giving them. So like maybe the stuff you teach them is actually like second place to the community, the communal aspect of what they're getting from, let's say, Totem.
Yeah.
And it's so hard if you don't have the right people around you to see anything but a negative simulated future based on your scenario. Yeah. Like I do this all the time where it's like, oh no, I'm not going to do this because that'll happen. But that's one possible outcome out of an infinite possibilities.
Yes.
So to say that you know which one's going to happen is fucking dumb because there's no way that's going to happen.
100%.